Platinum, the last of the real water cooler shows. It's been a while since it's been me and Madrid on here alone, kind of like the OG days, but we're back for a huge week. Texas OU, Red River rivalry. Trevor's in Europe right now, so we're carrying the load without him, so bear with us, but it's an awesome week. We had to get a video out, even though we've been busy, but man, it's OU week. I'm so ready for some blood this Saturday. I think it's going to be a special Saturday. Texas, we haven't really talked to y'all in a while, but Texas is just balling out. It's incredible what this team looks like under year 3 of Steve Sarkisian. And Saturday's another big step for this program, and I think it's going to be a very good one. So, Madrid, let me pass it to you. But first, please subscribe. I forgot to say, comment, like, everything. It helps us grow. So please do that. But Matt Madrid, how are you feeling about these Oklahoma Sooners that we're going to see in Dallas on Saturday?
Look, I'll tell you what. Out of all the years of my Texas football watching career, I no more than this year. I don't know what it is. I'm trying to still figure it out. This year, I really want to snap them in half. Like I want to physically dominate them in ways I've never seen. In ways I know that we can. I really feel like the roles are reversed. For the first time in my lifetime, which, man, saying that, like, I'm only 25 years old, and just that I know that much pain in this rivalry is kind of disgusting. But I'm ready. I'm ready to turn a new page. I said last year before the 49-0 game that this may be a turning point in this rivalry. We might go on a run, and history shows that a lot of this game between us, there's stretches of runs between each opponent, and I think we're headed towards that. I wouldn't say, I'm trying not to lead into the cockiness or overconfidence, but I know my team. I know my team. This team doesn't quit, and this team is very, very physical. And of course, with OU in Dallas, anything can happen. You throw the records out the window. Each team has its own motivation. Hell, they have more motivation than us, probably, just for the mere fact that they didn't score a point last year. So, that's plastered all over their locker rooms, and a lot of those players remember. But for once in my existence, I firmly believe that they are the pretty boys. They are the ones that can be pushed around, and I think we'll have the first shot at setting the tone at this game. And I guess you can only tell I'm leaning for a prediction, but I feel strongly about this team, and for the first, I keep saying first time, but it's true. It's the first time for a lot of these feelings. We have not only an offense that can hang in there, but a defense that can totally neutralize anything they do. And on top of that, we have guys that look. I think we're gonna have a coming out party for a few of these guys for this game. Jalen Callon has been a silent beast the majority of this season. We really haven't had to call upon him to do big things for us, which is good. He's a safety, it's last line of defense. But I feel like players like that are really going to show out and show what we're capable of. Yeah. So those are just a few initial thoughts. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, man. Catalan looked awesome against Kansas, and it's just like every week we're giving him more and more of a workload, and he's just showing what he used to, like the old Catalan. We're getting that, and he's healthy for this week, so I feel like he's going to try to decapitate some Sooner wide receivers, probably Drake Stoops or something like that. But man, I'm in the same boat as you. I think it's cool how you brought up or it's accurate how you brought up the roles are reversed now, because for the first time Texas is the better team, like, clearly, and OU fans won't admit that, but every non-OU fan in the country, objective fan, would admit Texas should win the game if they play their A game. And it's interesting because OU on paper, or at least like stats wise, looks really good. I mean, but there's
Yeah, they top everything.
Yeah, but there's a caveat of like who they played. They really haven't played a real. I guess they played two P5 teams, and one is Cincinnati, who's like just turned into a P5 team, and they're terrible. And same with Iowa State. So it's really a big question mark around OU, and I'm sure OU fans feel the same way about their team themselves. So, but like you said, Texas has the innate the characteristics of a championship team that we haven't had in years. We have a great defense and we're great in the trenches, and we have a good run game now, which is emerging at the right time. That's something that OU doesn't have because Jonathan Brooks is like really just looking like Jamal Charles now. He's like got Bijan numbers through 4 games, and we didn't really even utilize him much in at least the first week. And he's just getting more and more comfortable in the O line, is blocking even better. DJ Campbell's growing up, and I think looking at the game from like a 360 view, I think that's really going to be the difference is who runs the ball better. And I think looking at it now, Texas is set up to dominate at least the run game, both offensively and defensively, because OU struggled to really run the ball consistently, effectively on defenses they played. They don't really have that lead back. Like Marcus Major, I think, is their guy. And OU fans will admit that he's nothing special. And Texas's run defense has been superb. So I think if we're able to stifle the run game, which I think we will, it puts everything on Dylan Gabriel to try to pick apart our secondary downfield. And that's possible. I mean, we do have the weaknesses of our defense is the speed in the back end and the eyes. Like Keaton Crawford's got the speed, but he's not always in the right spot when those routes are going beyond him downfield. So that's like the one spot that Gabriel and Levy will probably try to exploit. I don't know if they got great receivers, not like they used to have, but that Anthony guy, number 5, is pretty solid. Brendan Thompson, he had a good catch on a 20-yard underthrow last week against Iowa State. Drake Stoops, Jabril Farouk, but like we've said this all offseason, they don't have those guys that we were terrified of: CeeDee Lamb, Hollywood Brown, even like throwing the quarterbacks, Caleb Williams. Like I know Gabriel has great stats, but this dude is like a G5 like little kid out there, and I know he's decent. I know he's good. He's got great stats, but I'm telling you, man, I want to see how he does with the pass rush on him this Saturday, because you know that we're going to get after him a lot with our edges and our interior. Dude, our interior is pass rushing like crazy. Sweat and Murphy, they're like unblockable. So that's kind of an angle I'm looking at. I like the matchup, but then again, I do realize that OU's defense looks like they're like legit with Stutzman and Quinn is susceptible to having those WTF moments and games, and he hasn't ever done it in a big game. So big game Quinn will show up Saturday, I'm hoping, and it's a homecoming game for him in Dallas. But I'm confident, but it's a rivalry, and it's weird because it's usually us as the underdog trying to unseat the powerhouse of OU, and now it's us as the top 3 team undefeated, win at Bama. And OU's trying to prove themselves against us. So it's a weird role reversal. We've seen it where we had bad teams and beat good OU teams. So now we have to, embrace the expectations and go out and set the tone. And it's going to be fun to watch. Game day's going to be there. I'm trying to be there. Tickets are so expensive. I'll definitely be at least at the State Fair, but hopefully I get a ticket. So if anybody knows where I could buy a ticket at, let me know. But it's going to be a beautiful day. The weather looks phenomenal. I think like 65 at kickoff, something crazy like that. So it's going to be a perfect day for football.
Ooh, with some breeze.
Oh yeah, no clouds.
Oh. I think I read somewhere. I was listening somewhere. This is the first Red River game where since I think it was 04, 03, where like it's a top 11 matchup or something like that. Or anyways, like we're both in the thick of things, you know what I mean? And I think that in itself is a big deal. One thing I always appreciate about Dylan Gabriel is he'll get the ball to his receivers. Like he's like one of those veteran presences. I remember watching at UCF and the type of offense they run. It's just go go go. And he shined in there, but he was always susceptible to getting kind of roughed up, kind of beat up. So I would like to see how he operates under pressure. He is a veteran, so I have I don't think he'll crumble, but we just need to get. I think he's susceptible to getting off his guard a little bit. If there's one compliment I really want to give him, is he has the crispiest handoffs to his running backs, like out of the gun. It's just a real like, here you go. Like it's just like, or like sometimes it's like a counter or something, and he'll do it with one hand, and he'll just. I don't know if part of me is like, oh, they're setting something up. They're setting. It's like a play action setup, which it probably is for later on. But like, it's just he moves. He's got great QB presence and aura when it comes to handing off the ball. Now I think about it, I don't know if that's really that much of a compliment, but it's just something I noticed last week. One thing I did notice last week when they were playing Iowa State is, man, they can get like gashed on the edges. And I'm sure Sark and them saw that. I'm talking like ball carrier is not touched for 7 yards. Like
Yeah.
it's first and down and a 10, and you do a little stretch play or counter play, and the running back hits the corner, and the linemen are 5 yards deep, and he's getting tackled at near the first down. So, look, I'm not saying this is your OU defense of old. They're definitely better, but I think I I think they may be. And it goes back to who they played. You know what I mean? I think a lot of like their I don't know their ages, to be honest with you, but they seem a little inexperienced, if that's a good word for it, or just not at the point development wise that they want them to be. I think our defense is better, and if I saw that out of our defense, I'd be super concerned. It's like, imagine if Baylor was hitting 8 yard runs on off the rip, like off the side. You'd be like, what's going on? So I think they still have those hints of our offense has to really make sure we score 30 plus. That's what I like about our football team and football in general. The balanced look is the way to go, and I think we can handle that a lot more. One thing that does make me a little nervous, and I don't think it will happen just because of the type of game. Well, like if it turns into a field goal game, man, Burt has been really scary lately. Granted, he's hitting the mud like the gimmies. It's not like he's missing the 30 yarders and the extra points, so that's okay. But when it gets to like 40 plus, look, man, we were blessed with Dicker. That man felt like it was automatic, or at least had a solid chance if it was 40 plus. Him, man, it's like, God, I don't want to be relying on you. So I'm hoping that's the only way it gets shaky, but I just don't see it ending up that way. I see the game ending up a little bit more like the Bama game a little bit. Um, I want to talk about Quinn real quick. This is the game right here where if he has the same type of caliber game as last year, or even the caliber game that he had against Bama, this is when the Heisman campaign starts. This is when we start putting up posters. This is when we start attacking the Penix narrative and the Pac-12 defense narrative. But he needs a good performance here to really set that off. All signs point to JT Sanders playing. I think him coming out of the game was precautionary last week. We had Gunnar Helmfeld in fine. So I don't think anything is wrong there. The reports of his grandpa saying how excited he was to come see him play. So like if grandpa's coming, I'm gonna assume JT Sanders is playing. Knock on wood, right? As for who's the other? Do you remember the other guy that got hurt?
Ryan
Uh,
Watts.
yeah, I think that's still up in the air. I don't know if you've heard anything. I think that's still up in the air. Luckily, we have depth at that position. Derek Williams is slowly getting integrated. Really, really nice to see. Malik Muhammad has already shown flashes. So I'd rather have Watts there. But I think we'd be okay with the nice rotation that we got there. Trying to think. Um, well, if I could just change courses, real quick. Um, so I think a lot of this these feelings are new for us, and obviously so we're 5-0. That hasn't happened in my conscious life, and it hasn't happened for us in a long time. And I think what I want to warn at least our faithful about is I want to say getting too ahead of ourselves, because I think right now you should have not only Big 12 aspirations, but you're ranked 3, you're 5-0. You should have you should have national championship aspirations. I wasn't a big guy on that in the beginning of the season, just because I just wanted us to get through the Big 12 first. But um now that I've seen us play and to see where we are, I think you can start talking about that. One thing I just want to remind everyone of, like, I know everyone wants to win a certain way. Like, who doesn't want to win 50-0, 40-7, 60-3, whatever blowout, name it how it is. But you got to remember there's another staff on the other side of the ball scheming you up. So it's never going to be that easy. And I just want us to act a little bit like we've been there before. Because look, I'm thinking about last week's game, Georgia and Auburn, right? That was a rivalry game. But people had narratives soured on Georgia a little bit, only winning by 7. But I'm gonna tell you something. You go back, we go to the, maybe even next year, maybe even the end of this year, we're gonna see is a W in the column. Okay, so I just want to assure fans and assure watchers to make sure you don't get ahead of yourself and melt down because you're not winning the way you want to. Winning for us is new. A consistent winning, at least, is new. So we need to just be prepared for that. So that's just a little spiel I wanted to go on real quick, just to make sure we don't get too crazy. But yeah, we can get back to the game now.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, we we're not even like winning games ugly. I mean, we've won every game by double digits. We've started slow in a lot of games. We did good
Yeah, no, absolutely.
against Kansas, but you're right. I mean, it's not going to be pretty. We're still learning how to, whenever you're like Georgia first arrived with Kirby and Bama first arrived with Saban, all these dynasties first arrived, like it's not like they show up one year and they start blowing everybody out. That's like that'll happen in the evolution of the program once it starts. You have to learn how to win games first, like consistently,
Exactly.
like games you should win, like at TCU, at Baylor, Kansas at home, Wyoming at home after a huge win. You have to learn how to win all these games, and then you can start trying to add the style points as you go. But even so, I mean, we beat the number 24 team in the country last week, 40-14, and didn't really break a sweat. I know they didn't have Daniels, but still. So I hear you on that, and you brought up a good crazy point actually. The first 5-0 versus 5-0 Texas OU game in since 2011, I want to say, and it's the game of the week. I mean, everybody's eyes are on it. Game day's going to be there. Greg Sankey's going to be there. The SEC commissioner and the Big 12 commissioner will not be there. So he's checking out his 2 new darlings, and
That's an SEC game, bro.
oh yeah, he's gonna love it, dude. I mean, I'm biased, of course, but there's something so magical about Texas OU and that state fair. It's unlike anything else, at least atmosphere wise, in any rivalry. There might be rivalries that are more heated, but as far as like just the aura of like 2 programs when they get together in the same stadium, like you can't beat Texas OU and Dallas right between smack dab between Norman and Austin and all the history. It's incredible. So I'm excited for hopefully Sankey has a good time out there. But yeah, man, it's a huge game, and you brought up the points, which I guess will kind of lead into my prediction, like keys to the game. Iowa State and Cincinnati was gashing OU on those outside zones, like when they get wide a little bit. And I just don't know if they'll be able to hold up consistently against Jonathan Brooks. I mean, like you said, Quinn has his Heisman game this game. This is his chance, but Brooks is number 3 in rushing right now in the country.
True.
He's really just coming on. Let's say Brooks goes off, which is very possible, and goes for 200 yards, 2-3 touchdowns, like which could happen. I mean, OU's defense is good. I don't want to undersell them, but Brooks is that guy right now. Then you start looking at Brooks, and you're like, this guy's got the stats, and he's on the best team in the country.
Yeah,
Essentially, like this guy could become a Heisman talk guy. It's a running back. It's hard to win it as a running back, but still, like either Quinn or Brooks have a chance to really come onto the national scene in a big way. I mean, Quinn's already a household name, but I see what you're getting at. So yeah, you make your name in the Red River rivalry, and I'm sure OU players feel the same way. But yeah, man, it's gonna be fun. I'm confident, but like you said, it's a weird confidence. It's not like the normal confidence when we're the underdogs and we're gonna play up to them. We got to make sure we don't play down to them because, I mean, yeah, they're a good team too, but Texas is clearly on paper the favorite. So, do you think Ryan Watts being out is gonna be a huge deal? Because I feel like that's how it's trending. Watts isn't going to play, and Watts is great in the run game, great physically, great tackler, but downfield when we talk about our slow secondary, one of the main reasons is Watts. Watts gets beat
yeah.
a lot. That's his weakness, and same with Jaron Thompson. The other people are pretty fast, like Brooks and Muhammad. They can run. Uh, Catalan. So, what do you think? What do you think about losing Watts? Do you think?
So yeah, that's the main thing. No, that's the main thing that I would say worries me because quality depth is a hell of a privilege to have, right? Um, but yeah, I've seen Jaron Thompson plenty of times get blown up in coverage and ran past and been flat footed. So that kind of gives me nightmares. The one thing that some of these Kansas and Baylor were able to do, the only spark they had was throwing a deep one down the middle. You know what I mean? Um, um and I think OU will have the best ability to do that more so than Kansas and Baylor were because just personnel wise. Um, so that does worry me a little bit, but I do feel like we got a stable of DBs back there. Well, where it'll be okay, and on top of that, we have a front seven that has a possibility of not even making that an option. So I'm not as I'd be more like Ford was out or Benda was out, or someone up front. I think our DBs are a luxury, and I think also PK does a good job of getting all those guys quality reps. So I think anyone he puts in there will be okay. And look, I'm not gonna say clear upgrade, but say we do get a young gun in there other than Warren Watts, at least the speed is better at the very least. You're lacking in experience, but at least the speed is a little better. So no, I wouldn't be too concerned. If this was OU, Lincoln Riley's OU, then yeah, I'd be terrified. I'd be like they're circling that Ryan Watts not playing, and they're hammering that side of the ball. So we'll see. I don't think it'll be that big of a deal though, unless you think so.
Yeah, I'm in the same line of thought as you, but we'll see. We'll see Saturday. Let me ask you this before we go to predictions and
Yeah.
um, so let's say Texas loses on Saturday, and this
Yeah.
kind of comes into what you were saying earlier about the playoff. If Texas wins Saturday, I mean, we're in the driver's seat to go to the
We
playoff.
control the destiny.
Yeah,
It's
big
it's
time.
all us.
With the mulligan in our back pocket, we could lose at TCU probably and still
Yeah.
get in if you won out with the Bama win on the road, and if we win the Big 12. But you don't know. This year's kind of stacked, so you don't want to bank on that. But still, the schedule's manageable. Texas should win out. And OU, their schedule's manageable as well. So the winner of this really is in the driver's seat for a playoff spot and going to Jerry World and Arlington for the Big 12 title. But it feels like these two teams are going to meet again, probably based on how horrible the Big 12 looks and how manageable OU schedule is in the
Yes.
back half. So if Texas loses this weekend, we can't we can't freak out because we beat OU in 2018 in the regular season, and they beat us in Jerry World and got the trophy, the Big 12 title, and went to the playoff. So if Texas does come out sleepwalking, if OU is legit, we need to not really panic and throw all our expectations out the window. Like it's very hard to go 12-0, and this is our last huge hurdle to do that. And I mean TCU, Kansas State, those won't be easy, but this is the one that we have circled. Like you get past this, and it's all there's light at the end of the tunnel to get to where you want to be. So if Texas loses Saturday, I feel like there's still everything out there to be accomplished. All the goals are still there for Texas, but it'd just be so much nicer if we won. And if we win on Saturday, we're 6-0, probably rank 1 going into the bye week. We'll probably jump Georgia and Michigan unless Georgia rolls Kentucky, which will be awesome, man. And then you get at Houston. That's probably a win. I know that's a weird game and a little brother type game on the road. They'll be fired up, but Houston's horrible. Like we'll win that.
Nah, they're garbage. Dana's halfway out the door already.
Oh yeah. And then you get K-State and BYU both at home. Luckily, those are not the easiest teams in the Big 12, but they're at home and we'll have momentum. So I feel like this right here really is a hinge point for Texas and the trajectory. You win this game, and then we're talking about this team can win a national championship because you're looking around the landscape of. We got lucky our year to become elite, like Georgia, Bama, all these superpowers, Clemson that we used to see, Ohio State. They all look so vulnerable. And Texas probably looks like
they look beatable.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously they're not mid. I don't know why I said that, but very beatable. And you would think
mid, maybe. Yeah.
If Texas makes it that far, they have a fair, reasonable chance to win 2 games in the playoffs. So obviously we need to win Saturday. I'm just talking as a fan. I'm not a player, so I can say whatever I want. But yeah, man. Anything else?
Hey, if we beat it. Yeah, no. If we beat OU, we have the best resume ever. I mean, not ever, but at least this season. And it will be hard for anyone to have a better resume than that. I think it's so funny that we got a cheesy top 25 win against Kansas, ranked 24. I don't know. I think that's add it to the list this year. Yeah. So I don't know, but honestly, I hope Kansas thrives after we leave. They deserve it after all those years. Let me see. Before we get into predictions and we end it real quick, something was reminding me when we used to do this show. It was just me and you in a college apartment in front of a green screen, trying to make it work, looking like news anchors and stuff. And I remember the first time. We became critical of the team. Like we started saying some stuff that wasn't really pretty about some of the players. I think one of the players. No, that's too long ago. Never mind. But anyways, I remember a few of them caught wind of it and were in our comments. And I remember them, trashing us and saying we didn't know shit and all that stuff. I just feel really, really vindicated right now because we knew that's not a sign of a good team. You know what I mean? Responding to 2 bozos on the internet with a podcast of 20 viewers. I don't know. So I just want to say we've come a long way to be able to talk about them like this. And we were right all along. We were just right all along. And we need to hang our hat on that. We know what a good team looks like. We know what good football looks like. And we're finally getting at least a crumb of that this season. So yeah, I just thought I'd share that. This is like one of the few episodes it's been was just me and you. It just took me back a little bit. But yeah, let's get into predictions.
Yeah, man, those Herman players were some bozos for sure.
Something else, man. Something else. Everyone else's fault, not theirs.
Yeah, the infamous Bo Davis video filmed by a Herman player. Yeah. So, anyways, you're right. We've come a long way, and this is what it looks like. This is how it's supposed to look when the program's healthy and the team is culturally sound and there's talent and it's executed. This is how it's supposed to look, and it's so refreshing to see. But all right, predictions: Texas OU Red River rivalry. Texas leads the series, by the way, like 63-52 or something like that. it'll always be Texas ahead in this rivalry as long as we're alive, I'm sure. But our guy Trevor, he's out in Europe right now on working. I don't know what he's doing out there, but he's something for
Yeah,
work.
he's working. All right.
So yeah, he wanted to include him, and I wanted us to include him in our predictions, and of course we're going to. So Trevor is taking the Longhorns. Unsurprisingly, he's got Texas winning 44-28. He says the defensive MVP of the game will be Anthony Hill, which I find interesting. So he's expecting them to kind of turn loose Anthony Hill on the edge this game and have some stuff saved for him to get after Gabriel, which I could see because Anthony Hill was turned loose against Milrow and he had some great plays. Could be the same thing this weekend. And who was his offensive MVP? Was it Ewers? I think it was Ewers. I
Yeah,
forget.
it was.
Yeah, so nothing crazy there, but 44-28. Texas, Trevor Stiff thinks the Horns are going 6-0 on Saturday. Madrid, you're up.
Okay. 6.5 favorites. I feel like this game is going to maybe not play out the same way as Bama, but maybe the score will end up a little bit the same. Um, they'll be around. So I got us winning. You heard me leaning the whole way. I got us winning 33-24. I think we get a nice field goal at the end just to kind of make it unreachable. Uh, Defensive MVP. I already mentioned him. Honestly, I think it's a Catalan party. I think he's gonna lay the boom in a real way. He was straight hurting people in Kansas. He was hurting boys. I think he'll be way more involved. I think we get a nice blitz out of him or something. And I'm excited, and I'm especially excited about him as a player. Offensive MVP. You know what? I had Brooks, but I think I'm gonna change it. Although I do think Brooks has a good game, I truly believe that Quinn Quinn has a real chance to really solidify his place nationally, if not already that he has, but at least Heisman wise. But it's not going to be Quinn. It's going to be through Xavier Worthy. I think he, I think Xavier loves OU in particular. I think he hates them Sooners, and he always shows up. So yeah, it's going to happen through Xavier Worthy. He's my offensive MVP.
Nice, nice. Yeah, Xavier knows a thing or two about dunking on OU secondary. Um, but yeah, all right. So I'm taking the Sooners. No, just kidding, just kidding.
No.
No, I have Texas winning. I mean, Texas, like we've been saying, we're built to win games like this. We've shown we're a veteran team. Year three under Sark, continuity all across the board in the coaching staff. We win games in the second half. We win games in the fourth quarter. We're comfortable there. Quinn Ewers has shown he's good in big games like this, and I know it's a weird matchup. It's kind of a scary matchup. If it wasn't OU, if it was some other faceless opponent, let's say it's Oklahoma State, number 12 on a neutral field with the same players, would be a lot more confident. But since it's OU, you have that what anything could happen factor in there. But I think Texas gets it done. I think it's a huge day for Jonathan Brooks. I think that it's just we have that steady run game to keep our drives alive and just get us points. We have to finish drives this game because OU has good red zone defense and we've struggled in the red zone. So we don't want to be sending Bert Auburn out there for too many kicks based on how he's been doing the last couple of weeks. But I think Texas punches in a lot. I think it's a good Quinn game. We get the good Quinn. I don't know if he'll put up huge stats, but I think he'll be methodical and move the offense, find the open guys, and put up enough points to win the game. I have kind of like you. I think it's a Quinn MVP game, but through Quinn, I think it's going to be A.D. Mitchell. A.D. Mitchell went off last week. Career high in yards and receptions, had a touchdown. Looks so comfortable, and A.D. Mitchell has proven his whole career to show up in big games. He did it in the playoff, did it at Bama. And this is one of the biggest ones he'll ever play in. His first and last Red River game ever, probably, or at least in the Cotton Bowl. Probably play him again in December. But I think A.D. Mitchell is, going to take advantage of the moment. He'll win some jump balls, moss a couple of those OU kids they have back there in the secondary. And I think he has a great game. Defensively, It's tough, man. We got so many good players on defense. I think it's so cool that we just have Jalen Kettle on, like it's a cherry on top. Like you forget
It's
about
just like, yeah, it's really a luxury.
Yeah, it's like, and it feels like an all-star team, at least on I mean, offense too. Like it feels like an assembly of all-stars. Like, there's so many good players on this team. I think it's going to be a Jadae Barron game. I think he'll crash those screens
I
hard
like
like he
that.
always does. He had a turnover in this game last year. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets another one. He's always makes timely plays when you need him, and he's probably our best player pound for pound in that defense. He's just always so good. Him or Jalen Ford. So I got Barron and AD Mitchell as the MVPs. I got Texas
I
winning
like it.
38-27, and let's get the natty conversation going. And two
I
years
need it, bro.
2 years in a row of Texas beating OU, and it should be three or four. Like you said, we're going on a run, and I think Venables, he's doing well in year two, but he's not ready for this. He's not ready for a team like
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
yeah. Cool, man. Well, thank you all so much for watching. It's kind of nice
Appreciate
having
y'all.
just the OG group right here. We'll get Trevor back in, I'm sure, next video. But it's felt nostalgic, and yeah, I like how Matt brought up. We've been doing this for a while. I mean, 2018 we started. It's 5 years
18. Yeah. Yeah.
before the 2018 season. No, actually after, but still, yeah, it's been a while. We're still getting them out when we can. So thank y'all for watching. Comment y'all's prediction, like
Appreciate y'all.
everything, subscribe. We'll try to get more out in the future. But I got my Beat Oklahoma shirt on, so we'll see y'all in Dallas on Saturday. Let's get this W. Thank y'all for watching.
Welcome.
See y'all next time.